All right, and I think we're live. Looks like we're live. Welcome to Podcast Live. I'm your host, Rafael Kalamat, and with me today is Michael Bleackley from Evolve Creative Solutions Inc. in Vancouver. I've known Mike for a very long time. We've known each other for 25 plus years, I think. I don't even know. I lost count a while ago. And these guys at Evolve are really great. They've really helped us with our branding. We're just getting started, so please be patient with us as we get this podcast going. And what do they do there? They got branding, web design, software solutions, and welcome to the show.
Great, thanks, Raf. It's appreciate you having me.
You bet. Look, tell us a little bit about what you guys do. Not only is this guy the one of the partners in the company, he's got me back into golf after years, back in 1996. So he's got a big play on what I've done in my life. And yeah, tell me how you got started with golf and how this company came about.
Well, golf. I started as a kid, but I didn't really get hooked on it. I chased hockey and baseball when I was young, and played a little bit of golf. A friend of my mom's showed me a few things up in cottage country in Quebec on a summer vacation, and then from there, I maybe got out once a year and really got hooked on it in the 96, 97, back when we shared the house in East Van there with Jared and
Yep.
Chris. Raf and I were pretty competitive, a lot of pitch and putt, and then it snowballed from there. Pitch and putt turned into executive golf courses, then eventually, getting into championship length courses. And, in the last 15 years or so, I've been really hooked on the tournament scene. And, I always joke that it's ruined my life.
No, I totally understand. It's sort of a lifelong pursuit of futility, but at the same time, it's so much fun. It's such a challenge. A lot like you, Mike. I grew up in a blue collar neighborhood in Montreal, and I was introduced to the game through a friend of mine. And at 9, 10 years old, we were pounding balls up in the local park, and we did that all summer long. And through my youth, I played hockey, baseball. I played so many different sports, track and field, and even cycling on a national level. I rode, and then I got back into golf. But that was the turning point. So 95, 96, 97, when we met and we started hanging out. You were my roommate at the time as well. And we went out and played. I even remember the day that we went out and played and came back and watched Tiger win the Masters in 1997. It was pretty wild with Jared Marchand and Chris Saray at the time. It was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, no, that was epic. I remember us were all watching in our own rooms. I think we weren't even in this watching it. It was epic.
Yeah,
And since then, that's what really or springboarded golf. As it obviously created a lot of popularity in the golf scene in general, but for me, it just the addiction got stronger and stronger from that point on.
and we see the boom in the game. Like the boom we experienced back then in 97 right through till 2001 with everybody picking up the game because of Tiger. Now COVID hit. It's pretty incredible how everybody just came back into the sport or just took up the sport as well. And like I know you guys what you do over at Evolve. Maybe you could tell me a little bit what you guys do there and how golfers or other companies or other businesses could get involved with what you do.
Well, Evolve, we basically our one of our core offerings is developing your online presence. So that includes branding and web strategies. So essentially, we will make you look like professionals online. So we create all the content in house, video, photography, copy, everything that's needed to be applied to your online marketing. And the other side of the company is software development. We've got an office in Mexico that we've created our own group of engineers. We can build applications, software solutions, and all of that. But in terms of golf, like because I played so much in so many tournaments here on Vancouver Golf Tour and a lot of the club events, I find that the services that we offer um, travel very well throughout the networking scene that attached to amateur golf, because it's typically um, business owners, executives, who are out there, and it's been great. We've met all kinds of decent clients through the golf world, and you look at it this way: you can spend 4 or 5 hours golfing with a client. You can probably work for a few months together and help them, be successful, whatever their project is.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. If you're just joining us, if you're listening to us or watching us, I'm with Michael Bleackley from Evolve Creative Solutions in Vancouver. You got a great view right in back of you. Is that what the weather's like there today in Vancouver?
It's 30 degrees and hot today. This is Canada's California, and yeah, so I'm sure there's a lot of people playing hooky down at the beach today because it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. We're getting to an age right now. I'm at 47 years old. We're playing at different styles of golf clubs. We have in Canada, we've got municipal courses, low end, mid end, and public golf courses, as well as resort courses, semi private, and private. And you decided this year to get out there and join a golf club. I'm really envious. I've worked at so many golf clubs over the years, from Dorval to Falcon Golf Club. I was assistant professional at Royal Montreal Golf Club. And so you got your membership. What's that like? And is it affordable for people to get out there and join a club?
Um, well, that's not a simple question, but for one, it's amazing. Speaking of being a member, it's fantastic just to be able to submerge yourself in golf and having the ability to practice and at a high level facility out in Richmond. It's called Mayfair Lakes. Is fantastic. So on that side of it, I'm enjoying it because I previously thought it's better for your golf game to travel and play around the munis and various courses, which I still believe it does build a stronger foundation for your golf game. But the ability to go practice and play at will and is definitely strengthened my golf game, and I'm hoping to build on it and get to scratch at some point in the next year or so.
Right.
But the key for the bonus of a membership now, COVID has basically exhausted all the available tee times. You have to plan 2 weeks out, pay advanced booking fees, and be very diligent about finding a tee time. But last year was really tough, so the opportunity to grab a membership, is something I'm very grateful for, and it's definitely a blessing, during the COVID time.
Yeah, it gives you a unique opportunity to network with people and play different inter-club events, and prepare, like you said, for playing better golf, and especially for someone like yourself who plays on the VGT tour. You play high-end amateur events. It's a wonderful opportunity to do those things. So it's great to see. I myself am working over at Vic Hatfield's Golf Center over in Oakville, and we're jam-packed all the time. It's a great place to practice. There's 3 chipping and putting areas. There's 120 hitting stations, half of which are off of grass. And Vic and Jeff Hatfield, big hockey family, did a great job getting that all together, and I'm really blessed as well to be part of that team. Hopefully, we'll get to play soon. And from what I hear, you played this past weekend when John Rahm went out to win the U.S. Open. What did you play this weekend? Tell us a bit
I
about
was
that.
I was in the City Amateur. It's held by the BC Golf Association. It was a great event. Typically, it's 2 days, but because of COVID reasons and all that, it was reduced to a 1 day tournament held out at Kings Links Golf Club out in Delta, which is it's almost like it's transplanted from Scotland, and it's here on our shores. It's an unbelievable links golf course, and highly recommend anybody playing it. But the tournament was the city amateur as well. It was the qualifier for the BC amateur. So very well run of it, and it was fun. Didn't qualify. Was a few shots short, but still, how I'm happy with how I fought through it and dealt with the pain that golf throws at you.
Absolutely. Well, you're a great player. There's a good rivalry between you and me. I head out to Vancouver once in a while. Worked in the car industry for a number of years, so I had the opportunity to come back and play with you. We've got our own little matches that we do, and hopefully we get a chance to play again. You gave me the opportunity to play the Mississauga Golf and Country Club with your family members. That was an awesome opportunity. Great golf course. And I just wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk about the state of the game today.
Sure.
I am amazed at the level of play that's happening. Now, we grew up watching golfers who were not in such great shape, did not have the technical resources we have today as average golfers, and it's pretty incredible that all these players are really great athletes. And looking just at the number of Canadian players, just on the men's side, just this weekend we experienced Mackenzie Hughes. We
Yeah.
got Corey Connors, Nick Taylor, Taylor Smith, Aaron Cockrell up in Europe playing all the time. Mackenzie Hughes, David Hearn, Graham Delat, just to mention a few players. And then
Yeah.
on the senior side, it's insane. Stephen Ames and Mike Weir are playing so well. I think it's the first time the other week we saw Canadians finishing 1-2 in a major event. And then they're standing on the shoulders of champions like, George Knudson, Dave Barr, Stan Leonard, Mo Norman, Richard Zokel, all these boys that we grew up watching. It's pretty cool. So, what do you think of the state of the game right now and where it's going?
Well, like Canadian golf, like our the depth of our Canadian golfers is amazing. There's also Adam Svensson, James Allenby.
Yep.
There's a handful of guys out here, Mike Bell, who are just absolute rock stars, and I think we're going to see a lot more coming out of the VGT crowd. But the golf's in a really good place right now, and we all want Tiger playing golf. That would be nothing would be greater than to see him
Yep.
in contention with everybody. But there's all these side stories. We've got the Patrick Reeds and the Bryson Brooks bullshit, and it's just it adds some entertainment to golf, and the young characters that are coming into the game. Just every year, there's 3-4 new solid young players who are the future is bright for golf, and on all tours. LPGA, it's strong. The talent out there is nothing like what we've seen, in the last couple of generations. And I think it's all the people, the kids that have grown up watching Tiger are all starting to mature now, and golf's been cool the last 2 decades.
Yep.
So we're starting to see all these kids enter golf, and I think we're only just in the beginning. There's going to be a lot more, youth talent coming up in the next few years.
No, I agree totally. Like, just giving an example of my son, who's 14 years old, is now taking up the game. I had a chance to play with him. We go out at least once a week. And to what you alluded to, LPGA, let's not forget our women. It's pretty incredible what Brooke Henderson is doing. 10 wins on tour. She's the winningest golfer in Canadian history, and that's kind of overlooked. I know we have a lot of media coverage, with Bob Weeks and Mark Zucchino. They're doing a great job, and other people in the industry, a lot of great writers in Canada. But you got Elena Sharp, and they're all standing on the shoulders of people who had the hardest time of getting out there. Lori Kane, Sandra Post, Don Code Jones, Jocelyn Barassa. They had a really hard time making it, but they did. And it really puts Canada on the map. So I'm thrilled. This is a segue into a question that you told me that your grandmother was a golfer as well, and your ancestry goes right back to St. Andrews. Is that right?
That's right. My grandmother was, I think she was the 1913 women's champion. And my great grandfather, part of me, used to work at St. Andrews. He was a superintendent. And So he had moved over there at the turn of the century and was a pro in Ontario at a club called Glendale,
Yep.
which has changed names now. I can't recall the current name, but the club's still operating, and there's a tournament that still operates, the Hunter Armitage tournament, which is for women only.
Great.
So our great grandfather was a huge supporter of getting women into golf, and hence my grandmother being able to learn, and and she was sharp. She knew everything about the PGA Tour, back in the day. So the golf's been in our family for a long, long time. So
That's pretty
uh,
amazing. That's pretty
yeah,
amazing. I find that fascinating. Just to talk about, our roots and how things come about. Um, one of the things I wanted to talk about as well is the fact that, golf instruction is pretty important. Good working on your game, but you need to see a golf professional, right? You need to work on your game and recheck your grip, your stance, your posture, your ball position, your alignment, even your club position. How important is seeing a professional to tweak your swing? But not only that, technology, clubs, getting your clubs tweaked, taking a look at that once in a while.
I think everybody, even beginners, should go get some clubs fit for them. It's something that can't be overlooked. Technology is there, and I think the cost of entry it can be prohibitive, but there's always a way out to figure out what's going to work the best for you. Go and talk to a pro, because a lot of times pros have some gear that they've been handed from sponsors and could give a break on. No matter what, if someone wants to get into the game or just improve, you have to go see a professional and get advice, because listening to your buddies at the range is only going to screw you up for years. So 4 or 5 lessons from a pro where you learn some fundamentals, how to putt and how to chip, and then you can take it from there. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I see a lot of people from beginners all the way up to professionals that come and see me for golf lessons. I do video analysis with V1 software. I always recommend a club fitter. And in Canada, we've got a lot of amazing programs for juniors. So you could look up Golf Canada and see what they have to offer, as well as the Future Links program. Back in 1999, when I got involved with Maurice Dagenet from Golf Quebec, we initiated the program, and on the first weekend, we had 250 juniors.
Yeah,
And it's an amazing program that offers a lot of resources, so I would suggest to look into that. Very much like the First Tee in the U.S.
yeah,
And yeah, it's extremely important. Take your kids out. It's not that expensive. I know we're talking golf, and a lot of people might be watching this who don't play golf at all. So I'm going to suggest to just get out there, get a rental set, even borrow some clubs, but go out on the driving range, hit some balls. But the experience of being on the golf course is quite unique. And most people have an experience of going out on the golf course for the first time in a corporate golf tournament. And that's more like a picnic than anything else. You have a couple of drinks. It's very social. But
yeah.
if you want to get out there and be athletic, and people don't realize how athletic you have to be, walking a full championship length golf course takes a lot of energy, unless you're riding in a cart. So a lot of people have this image of driving around in a cart, having a good time and smoking a cigar. Whereas as an athletic sport, and it is a sport, it's not just a skilled game. People could get a lot of exercise. And I think in Canada, we have a lot of mental health issues with people these days. They're not getting out, also because of COVID, and golf is a great opportunity for people to get out there.
Yeah, golf is an incredible mental health break, and we get information thrown at us all day long with their devices, computers, your phones, people watches, you name it. It's everywhere. So golf's great. You can go and get away from that for a couple hours, and that can be a recreational golfer who just wants to have a couple of beers and ride around the cart and enjoy the scenery,
Yep.
that's there. Go for it. And if that's what your golf is, then wonderful. But golf, it absolutely is a sport and involves athleticism. When the traditionalist likes to walk, of course, and golf is really meant to be walked. So myself, I take a cart maybe 4 or 5 times a year on certain courses, but for otherwise I'm walking, and that puts hundreds and hundreds of kilometers of walking under my belt every year just by playing the sport, and there's a lot of benefits to that health wise.
Absolutely. With the gyms being closed, it's really hard for people to get fit, but there's a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of extra type of training methods that people could do to get fit for golf.
Yeah,
And, just doing a home workout program really helps. However, just getting outside and starting to walk. My 14-year-old, Adam, has a really hard time even walking 9 holes. It's amazing after a year's time of being inside all the
yeah,
time. So it is athletic. Uh, you get to walk a couple of kilometers, up to 7 kilometers on a championship golf course. But, the problem is people think about money and it's time consuming. So getting out there just for 9 holes or trying out a par three course is an option. And that only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours of your time getting out there for 9 holes. So, and it could be affordable. Again, there's low end, mid end public golf
yeah,
courses, high end, semi private resort
yeah.
courses. And yeah, so getting out there is great.
Golf, it's misleading because yes, golf can be expensive if you got to have the newest club every season, and then that's what you want to do with it, and you can pay as much or as little for a green fee. There's clubs around here you can get out for pitch and putt for $15. There's some executive courses and lower end courses that are $25 to $35 green fees. I think Burnaby Mountain is 35, $40. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but Langara is $50, and there's SkyTrain within 300 yards of the pro shop or 400 yards of the pro shop. There's a SkyTrain, so there's courses that are accessible and that are fairly inexpensive. So yeah, it really comes down to what you want to pay for your green fees and what do you want to get out of your golf. But even at the top end, say $100 for a green fee, which like Morgan Creek is a little bit more than that, and like you're out there for 4 or 5 hours, $20 an hour. You can break down the value in that $100 green fee pretty easily when you're out on a beautiful manicured piece of property, and you spend more than that sitting on a patio for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it's relative, and same with golf clubs. You can go get used sets, get some hand me downs. There's a way to get around the cost of golf if you want to get out and play.
No, absolutely. Listen, Mike, tell us again a little bit about what you do. But before you do that, if you're just joining us, I'm with Michael Bleackley from Evolve Solutions in Vancouver. They do branding, web design, software design, and maybe you could tell us a little bit more about what the company does, and how about an example of maybe one of the companies you helped develop and what you did for them?
Yeah, we've helped a lot of companies. But we basically I have an in-house team. I have designers, developers, SEO experts, all on staff. We got a team of about 9 of us here in Vancouver, and a team of 6, and we could scale up to about 20, depending on what we're building through our team in Mexico. So up here we handle everything that's client facing, such as the design aspect and whether that's logo, web, and the content associated. So we've got a studio here in South Vancouver, a photography studio, video production studio, and so we will do all of that stuff here. So to think of a client, there's a tent company we've helped recently elevation tents. We gave him rebuild website, foundationally, it's built to optimize. So we set up his content right from scratch.
Right.
I had my SEO girl organize all of that, and under her guidance, we've laid out a new platform and a rebrand, and he's now starting to see the results. He's made wise decisions on his marketing efforts, and now he's starting to see some results. And but we've worked with many different companies as well, different sectors from law offices. We recently did some photography for a company out in Surrey, including drone photography. So I went out with the drone around and captured some cityscape scenes for them, and would help them just with a small part of their rebrand. They already had their own internal team in place, so they used us as an extension of their marketing team, which happens a lot. So an enterprise will obviously be large enough that they have their own group, but they really need support from an outside agency like ourselves. So that's where
that's pretty neat. Like relaunching, rebranding, and
yeah.
and marketing as well, I would think.
Right now, like COVID has made it apparent to a lot of businesses to make sure that their web presence is in the forethought of their minds, and being active to build their best representative online. So your website is there 24/7. So make sure that thing is a lead generator, and it looks good. This is your opportunity to one up your competitors and look the part. So make sure to put a little effort into that. And COVID has made that apparent. So you see a lot of people got used to e-commerce, ordering from Amazon. For the first time, you got to think a lot of people, have experiencing that over the last year and change. And you can't neglect your online presence.
Oh, that's amazing. How could we get in touch with you and your company? Do you have a website, a email address?
We are ecsagency.com, and we have form fills on the website that anyone can reach out to us. My email is mike@ecsagency.com, and happy to talk about how we can help anybody.
Well, I'm pretty impressed. I know we're old friends, Mike, but you actually pulled off a lot and inspired me to do this show. You helped me out with some of the graphics that we're working on right now. We're in our infancy. We're just getting started, but really helped me springboard right into what we're going to be doing with our marketing, our social media presence. And I know that I've looked at some of the projects you've taken on and how much you gave them that social media presence. Be it Facebook, Instagram, and now with like different platforms like Twitch and YouTube, and it's pretty incredible what you could do for a company. So I'm thrilled to be associated with you, not just because you're my buddy, but you've really taken a professional attitude on moving this forward and helping us out. And I'm in Mississauga, just outside of Toronto. And I just can't help but talk about golf a little bit more when it comes to what the professionals are doing out there on the golf course. And watching the U.S. Open this weekend at Torrey Pines, after watching that epic event we both watched Tiger win back in 2008, and now Jon Rahm taking the mantle, with his first major win and everything he had to go through with COVID and, leading the tournament by 6 at Memorial, and then him coming down the stretch and birdieing the 71st and 72nd hole of a major championship, and then seeing DeChambeau and he took the first spot. He's in first place right now as a number one player in the world.
And there was a big week.
Man, everybody was at the top. We had Morikawa. We had Justin Thomas at one point. Everybody was up there. And Oosthuizen it just seems like everybody else kind of fell apart, and whoever held on to it. I thought for a moment English was going to win it, because he posted the first number at 3 under, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and English just slid into third there very quietly, and he just held on to it. So I think he's took home 800 grand, or he took home a lot of money for that.
They're playing for $12.5 million.
So, but Rom, when he was cleared to get into the U.S. Open, I had a feeling he would win. When he was had to withdraw from Jack's tournament, I also suspected he would win his next start because he's been improving a lot mentally. He's been a bit of a hothead previously,
Yep.
and which I don't mind seeing that. I like to see players have some emotion out on tour, and like just say that they get frustrated just like any of us, and they're not robots. So it's good to see. But he's dealt with that, and I think he's grown a lot. So his making those two putts on 17 and 18 downhill sliders, like those were not easy putts.
Yeah.
You can't just ram those in the back of the hole.
No
Those
pun
are
intended. No pun intended. You can't ram those in.
oh, oh. So it was great. It was it's emotional to see him with. There was you could feel it out there with Father's Day and Phil Mickelson hanging around,
Yeah.
and
Isn't it ironic that he got the Jack Nicklaus medal, right, for the U.S. Open, and him losing the tournament? And you talk about rivalries. Like, one of the best golf rivalries right now is between DeChambeau and Koepka. I'm liking it. It's not hostile. There's just some words exchanged. I'd love to see those guys go head to head at some point
Yeah.
in time.
Well, you go back to last week when Brooks is being interviewed, and DeChambeau was walking by and he's jumping up and down and trolling him a little bit. So I thought that was hilarious, and I hope to see that continue. I think golf gets a little I can't say stale. It gets a bit crusty.
Yeah.
The announcers can be boring sometimes, and just to see a little color in the game.
Yeah. Speaking of golf analysts, I love Nick Faldo. Jim Nance and all the old boys club, but they gotta, pick it up a little bit. We're not in a library setting anymore.
Jim Nance is great, but he's perfect if you want to have a nap, because he really, I find half an hour talking to him and I'm curled up in the couch sleeping.
Right. And I feel like, yeah, I totally hear you. Even with Faraday, I feel like he's holding back from being, with his dry Irish humor. He can't really be himself. It's sort of like the CBS, NBC / ESPN, demeanor. And that's okay. It's okay. I think it's going to change. There's going to be a turnover, and there'll be a changing of the guard soon enough, and it's going to be a little bit more exciting because you could see it. Everything's changing in the sport.
I think Faraday, even Faldo can be hilarious. Like they do drop some great great lines here and there, but everyone's scared to get canceled.
Yeah,
and these guys got to watch out right now, because one slip in their toast. I don't know if you remember Kelly Tillman about 10, 11 years
Kelly was
ago.
amazing. Kelly is still amazing. I heard her briefly during the Masters, a couple of comments, but Kelly
made a comment. Tiger was laying the boots to a field, and I forget what tournament it was.
That was in Hawaii. That was in Hawaii back in mid 2000s, where she
referenced, that he's they're gonna have to take Tiger out and lynch him, and like she had to apologize the next day. It was if she said that today, it would have been even worse. It was 10 years ago, but still. She took some heat for that, and no one, so they do have to be careful. Something that they think might be funny to a very small amount of people out there don't, but they, so I feel for these announcers, because I would love to hear a bit more color commentary, like, the Johnny Millers and, these people who aren't afraid to speak their mind and their opinion, which, Brandel Chambly, for that matter, like, love him or not. He speaks his opinion. He'll stand and he'll debate his point. And
that's a great threesome. When you have Rich Lerner, Brandel Chambly, and Justin Leonard together, you got two veterans. I really enjoy the banter back and forth. They keep it light. They only get them at the major tournaments or on Sundays, and I really enjoy watching those guys.
Justin is pretty good. I wasn't sure how he was going to do, but I like him. I've always liked him as a player, um, and he's great. I enjoy him on the Golf Channel.
Look, Mike, time is flying by. I'm really happy that we finally did this. I'm going to have you
Yeah,
on again at some point in time. And
sure.
good luck with everything that you're doing at Evolve Solutions. I'm going to recommend you highly. Hopefully, our viewers get to see this and reach out to you. And you don't have to be a golf business. You could just be a business in general. Reach out to Mike, ask him about all that he does. And you've been watching Podcast Live. For Michael Bleackley, I'm Rafael Kalamat. You guys have a great night.
Thanks, Raf. That was lots of fun.
You
Okay,
got it, brother. We'll talk soon.
okay,
Take care.
okay, take care.